Alright guys, it's been a while. I made a tutorial video, and I've, this is impromptu, so I'm waiting for. I have a blocker on something, and I have to wait before I could do anything, and I'm active. So I'm just going to take out this time to do something and share it as a video. It's going to be like, well, I don't know if I call it a tutorial, but you could just watch while I do what I'm going to do. So I have decided that I'm going to work on something, and this is going to be beneficial for my students also. I gave them an assignment last weekend, and I'll just do the correction. Would I say correction? I'll just do what I asked them to do. So what I'll do is I'm going to kick off with so I think it's a to-do list application. So I have done basic stuff on it, and I'm going to add things on it too. So what I asked them to do was to add the edit function and the I think just edit function. I had finished with the delete function and the create function. I think it's just the edit function, and we are doing it using just use state because that's where we are at. I'm not using effect reducer or anything, just state. Use state. So let's get into it without talking too much. So npm. So I already have an application up, and I think I'm going to touch the design a little bit, add some things on top of it to look better. So this is what we have. We have a to-do list, and I'm adding stuff. So I'm going to add. I've been adding this. Go to charge stuff and submit, and I have it here. And what I did was I didn't want to waste time to get an icon for delete. I knew I was going to do this eventually. Did I know? I had an idea because I knew I was going to go ahead and do edit and other stuff. So these three dots over here was going to be useful. So I knew that was going to be useful, but what we used it for was to delete. So on click of it just deletes the item out of the to-do list. Okay, I think I should have added one more thing for the assignment, but let's just go ahead. So what I want to do now is add the edit state to this. So what I want to do is on click of this button here, I want to have a side something like a drop down. I don't know what name to call it now. Maybe a drop down or a pop-up. Not a pop-up, because pop-up is like the whole screen, but just something on the side, maybe on hover or on click to get it out, so I can click on delete or edit. I'm just going to make it real quick so that if you don't know, it doesn't get too long. So I'll find where I'm at in my app, and this is the component. So I'll share this the link to this code online so you could follow through while I'm working. So this is a to-do list component inside of my main JS. I'm having to-do list here, and it's coming from to-do list and to-do list, which is found inside of this place, and this is where we are. We have everything at. So we created components here. We have the to-do header, the date. I just did it so I could teach how to create components and use them separately, and this is the list of the to-dos inside of the component called to-do. So I think that's where we're going to do this functionality where we click on this icon here. We have two options, so I'll just go into it, and go ahead. So I was already feeling sleepy while waiting, and I didn't want to sleep. We should be active. So let's just get into it. So this is where we find ourselves. Like I said, I'm going to share this code so you can look through it. So what we have here is, on click of that thing, we have delete to do. So what we want to have is something different. So just outside of it, I'm going to create a component that would act like what I want to see. So inside of it, you're going to have some text. Let's use p tags so that I can give whatever size you want. So the first one is going to be delete, and the next is going to be edit. You can actually use icons inside of the spaces to look good if you want, but to keep this simple, I'm just going to do edit and delete. So if I save this, the way I look at it inside of the browser is delete and edit, and you find out this guy is hanging over here. So what I'm going to do is to put this on this side and this on the other side. Which one do I have preferred? Whichever side works fine. So I'm going to design this guy with CSS, with the class name, and I'll call it. Naming stuff in programming is quite difficult, so I just say menu. Yeah, menu should be good. So like I said, whenever you're having components, a lot of components, you want to make sure that the naming is right, especially when you're not doing modular CSS. This is like normal plain CSS, so you want to make sure the names are right, and you want to target the file that you're in and name it. Usually I like adding the file name, then the name to it. So for this one, I'm going to say to do menu. So it reduces the probability of somebody else using the same class name, so it doesn't clash and everything is compiled. So to do menu, what I'll call this. So the place where we're styling this is inside of it to do. Let's find it, to do.css. So let's get it. Alright, to do.css, and we say to do menu. That's what we called it. To do menu. And then what style would I like to give this? So first of all, we need to see the parent so that we can know if we'll be touching the parent a little bit first. So to do container contains, yeah, everything. So yes, so I think I've touched that. So I'm going to give it a position. So this one usually confuses me. Should I give it absolute or relative? I think it should be relative. I just, in my mind, I do the opposite of what I think it should be. So my mind is saying absolute, but I'm thinking the opposite, and usually the opposite is correct thing. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So I'll go and say position here is absolute. So if I save that, I see that it goes off to the edge of the parent, because the parent has the absolute, the relative value. Now if I didn't put the absolute value in, the relative value in the parent is going to now be the whole browser that will be receiving the relativity. So I'm going to say I think I'm not going to talk too much about CSS. Let me just go straight to one thing. So you want it to be on the right hand side, so I'm just going to say right 2 pixels, so it's over there, and I want delete to be on top and edit to be under. So let's say display flex direction column. Alright, so that's what we have. Then it doesn't have any width or height, so let's say the width should be so let's use percentage for the width. Let's say it is 10% of the parent, and it's taking it over there. So let's see if this will resolve. Okay, kind of going out to the screen. So let's do a background color so we can see what we have. Let's give you white so that the color will be, let me find those colors here to use. Paste. All right, so apparently we have to increase the width 20%. Okay, I think the color has to be deeper than the currently is. Should have, let me just use chances over white. We'll drag it down a little bit. Still, oh, I have some absolute value here. Take that out. I don't need the absolute. So it should come down a little bit. What else do you want? I don't see it affecting this anymore. I think the color is not being affected anymore, and I don't know why. Let me just go ahead and use the value, say black first to see why it's not working. Can somebody tell me why this is not working? Let me find out myself. So let's see. So I like creating tutorials where I do not prepare for anything. So I like it now that I have an issue with my styling. I can check this out myself, and I'll show you how to do that yourself if you want to. So I'll click on that. To do wrapper, to do menu. So I'm having the color here, but I'm seeing that it's being crossed out by something else, and this is the man crossing it out because this has a higher specificity than this div. Okay, so let's resolve this problem. What did we call it again? No. Okay, so I could get more specific by just adding color value here. Style. I think this one just makes it so color black. Yeah, so that overrides any other thing. Okay, so here I'm going to say padding top and bottom is going to be blocked. Padding block should be like 5 pixels. Let's see how that looks. I think something's happening. Okay, I need to give it a top value. So yeah, top 5 pixels. Alright, I think this part looks good for it. Let me curve it out a little bit. Border radius 3 pixels. Let's go with 5 so it's more obvious. Alright. So it's there. I think you could move it out a little bit. So let's say right 0. You shall be on the to-do list chart. I think that's okay. Then top, let me add just 1 pixel. Let me see, come down a little bit. 1 pixel would never enough. 8. Okay, so you can still see the 3 dots. Let me just go ahead and make it 10. So yeah, so that I can click back on the 3 dots to take it out or put it back, like on off. I want to still have access to it. Make it clearer. Yeah. So we have that there, but we don't want it to be always there all the time. So we need to put it inside some conditional. Right, so I'll wrap this around this, and then I'm going to just say show menu and so we don't have show menu yet, so let's create it as a state. I think I need to wrap my code so you can see everything I'm doing here. So I need to get the state, say const show menu because that's what we're using, and set show menu. Like I said, this can be anything, just know that it's the value and the setter function. So since it's going to be off and on, so let's just use true or false value. So on load it shouldn't be there, so that should be false. So we save that. We have our code crashing because it's not imported use state. Alright, great. So let's add the to do. So go to search, and it's not there yet. So even if you click on this, it still has the delete function, right? So if you just delete the guy out. Okay, so let's get back to base. So basically we need to take out this to do on click function or delete to do and pass it on to delete, so that we can pass a different function on this ellipsis. See, click, on click, then call a callback, and that callback is going to set show menu to either true or false. So initially it's going to always be false, so let's use show menu there to set it true or false. So it's good. So it should be working now. So when I say go to school, click on that, then I click on this, it shows, click back, moves, shows, click back, shows. Okay, so that's it. No, I don't want the meaning. And then when I click on delete now, it should delete. But let me style this. Should be pointer, cursor, pointer. Alright, so let's delve into it. So that's working as I want now. So you can go ahead and do the edit function. So for the edit function, I also want to have something. When I click on edit, then a couple of things will happen. I'm going to get an input tag inside of my to-do list. So I'm going to convert this guy to an input when I click on edit, so that I can pass in some value and use that value. That's great. So let's get the state that will determine whether that input is going to show or not. So const show edit set show edit equals use state false. So initially it's going to be false, right? Yeah, it's only going to be true when we click on show edit. So I'm just going to wrap this around some JavaScript, and I'm going to say I have to do ternary here because it's going to show either this or that. So ternary, so show edit, if it's true, then show me not this, show me an input tag. So let me put an input tag ahead of this with input. Probably have to start an input eventually. Else show me that. So initially it's not going to be like that. So I'm going to come here and do that. I'll click, then call back, so I can add set show edit. So this is the setup. Set show edit to either true, got to turn it to be false. Okay, we'll change it to be false with something. So show edit, yeah. So let's test it out. Go to the market, click on submit, click on this, click on edit. Now we have an input tag we could type into. So it doesn't look too bad, so I'm just going to leave it like this, so I wouldn't have to do any styling. And I click back on this, we want it to go back to what it was before. So this has to take another function, so there's going to be coupled inside here, so I have to wrap it around curly braces and add this guy over here into it. Copy, paste. So it's working great. Okay, so at this point you want to add value into that thing and then edit it. How do we do that? So I'm going to open the screen out wider and take some things from somewhere and put it back. So we already have an input tag inside. So whatever this was doing initially is what this new edit is going to do, but this time around is going to be, wait, what just happened? I didn't click on edit and okay, this is not what's supposed to happening. So let's fix this. So this is happening because I put it here that, so let's make it conditional. Let's say if show edit is true, then show edit, else false. Or we could just say on click set it to false. So if it was false before, it's going to be false. So there's no need to add any conditional. Let me just back to where it was. So it doesn't, so this is no longer a switch off and on. It's going to be just targeting and say false. So I think this should work. Kill this one, click on it, then when I click on this, then that should happen. Then when I click on this, so it works good. Now let's go back. We want to add all the functionalities we need to do in the input. Not all though, but most of it. So I'll just take this, use this one from here, text. I just taking it one by one because we developers, I am the developer and I'm lazy, so copy and paste. So I want to use this text value from the input tag I'm going to be having here and use it to update. So input.js, and I'm also going to take this function on add and add to do. But before we get there, let's just take in what we have in the input tag. Value text on change effect. So I'm not doing change effect here. Let me just take the value, pass it on to my input. Not there. This one. So I need to say the type is text. I think by default it's usually text. So the value there is text. Then I'm going to be able to use this value here to do something. So I'm saving that. So I need the function that can update the to-do list. So that's going to be a map function. So before I could do that, I also need to have access to, I think it's whole to-do list inside of this application or inside of this component. So that's going to be like prop drilling, but because we're just going to be dealing with basic stage and not doing any context API or anything like that. I want to keep it basic. This can be done more efficiently, but so I'm going to pass. So we are working with the to do. That's where we were, right? To do. So I passed a couple things into this to do set list, and we passed the list into to do. So we think we have access to the list instead of to do. Wasn't that where we were? Yes, we have access to the list there. You also have access to ID of whichever one you're clicking on and all those things that we have access to. Let's get back there. You can see we call them props. So they're great. So let's get an edit function. Let's call it edit to do. Edit, no, small letter, edit to do. And this time around, are we filtering? Not really. We are actually going to do a map functionality, and if e.id is equal to prop.id, then we want to do something. I prefer making my whenever I want to do conditional inside my use state instead of my map, I like keeping it like this and use if else conditions because it's easier to read. So do if, because it's no longer a predicate, right? It's not a filter or a find index functionality. So I'll do if that is equal to that. Then we want to edit it. What are you editing? You're editing the text. So let me come back to the to-do list and see what it looks like. I think you should check the input and see how we're expecting it to be. So to do text, desk, text. So we're updating the to do property and the desk property inside of it, but we'll keep the ID property the same. So we come back here and see e dot text is now equal to text, and e dot, because I'm using the description and the text to be the same thing for now, because I don't want two input tags to add the text and then the description, because UI had that value. That's why I just did that. So equals to text all the same, and if it's not equal to that, I think I'm forgetting something. We want to return e. I think here also we need to return e after you're done whatever you want to do with e. Return e. Okay, and then after we're done with that, you want to, so let's change this to a lists. So take that guy here and pass it inside of setlist functionality. Now, what is this setlist functionality? If you're watching this video and you didn't watch the other time, you didn't follow me too when I did this application, you might be wondering, what is prof to setlist? So if I come to to-do list here, I have setlist functionality that I usually create the list I'm using. So I passed it into this to-do app. Initially, I used it to do the delete functionality. So after I filter through the list, I'm going to delete a specific item and then update the list using the setlist functionality. I'm also going to do that using the edit functionality too. So I save and pass this edit function into what? So there's nothing that is actually nothing that is making. So after I finish typing, what is the action that edits? Okay, now I don't know if you follow what I'm saying. So this is what I'm trying to think about. So if I do this and I click on edit and I come here and I type something, it's not typing. Why? Value equals text. So what's my text? It's empty. Okay, so I'm not setting text or anything. Yeah, well, should still be okay. Shouldn't show because I'm setting the value here. Let me take that out for now. I can show you what I'm trying to see. So if I add the value here, I need to say I'm done, then submit, right? So that's not here, so I need to add it to it. So what I'm going to do is do something like what I did here, submit. If that's fine, or should I use this one here, submit? Or do I say when I start typing, then this is now changes to edit, save or something? I think we should do that one. After we type some values inside of here, this cannot want to save. Let's do that. So with that, we need to, let me add that back here so that, no, what do I do? Undo, yeah. So let me add values into that place. We want to, okay, I need to do an unchange here. I want to say change just for the benefit of what, I don't know. So we want to set text to e.target.value. Save it so that when this value changes, text can change, and then we can see it in the input. And we want to know if we have written something inside of the input tag so that we can change this value from edit to save. that's good. So how do we do that? We need to monitor it. So instead of passing this one directly here, we can create a function outside and say, call it check edit input. Check edit input. So that's monitoring it. We could have made this better if there was a use state, because this is going to be a little problematic because of the batching system with React. If you're using okay, let's just get there. If it doesn't seem too obvious, I'll just skim through it. So I'm going to come here and say check edit in I keep forgetting const check edit input. I like my arrow functions. Then I pass this value here, and this has to be here. So because this guy is going to receive some params, this has to take a callback too, so that this guy can take his params, which is E. Alright, so when this happens, you want to do, because why I'm doing this is because I want to do more than one thing, not just change the value of text. So I want to show edit or save. I'm going to say if text, want to check the length of text if it's but you realize that since this is the function that's updating text, you realize that it might not be as up to date as the current. So if the text is 1, it might be seeing 0. If text is 2, it might be seeing, if text is 3, it might be seeing 2. So let's just work with this for now. So if text is, let's say, greater than 0, then we want to say set show, I think we have show edit. Let's just say show save now, to not show save. And because we don't have these guys, we need to create them here. So show save, show edit to show save. And what's going to happen is we'll replace this guy with, basically, see, since there are now 2 values that can show up, we have to use a scenario. So let's go ahead and say show save. If it's true, then initially it's false. So if it's true, we want to show save. Let me just copy this guy and paste, because I mean, man, who likes typing? So I'll change this to save, and the function inside of here is not going to be, this, it's going to be a different function. So that function is going to be the function we just created above for the edit. So what do we call it? Edit to do. Copy. Edit to do. Enter that. That should work. So let's check our app out. So let's just go ahead and try to use what we just created. So go to church, save it, and I try to edit. Now I'm going to write go. So it's not changing. What's happening? I'm not getting my values out. Let me check my, should be getting some kind of errors here. So check input is not defined. Check edit input is not defined. Okay, so let's find out where it's saying check edit input not defined. Where do I check edit input? Oh, check edit input, copy. That's it over there. Where did you write it? Hold on. Hmm. Go on, check edit input equals to this. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, there. So this should be okay. I'm putting a callback inside of a callback. See. Let's refresh to take everything back to the way it was. So we'll go ahead and say go to church, submit and edit. Come here and say go to the market. That was what I tended to write. Now we can see this is saved now, and then let's click on save and see what happens. So if I click on save, you also want it to return back to the way it was. Have we done that? I don't think we have. So save. It remains like this. So let's move away. Still remains go to church. And that's not what we want. So let's check back. When you click on save, what happens? Edit to do, and you also want this guy to, oh, I think we want to turn it to false. I'm not sure edit. When you click on save, you want show menu to be false. Copy. After all is said and done, you want this to be false. So first of all, I need to see what this is. Console.log edited. It's the bug. Why ain't it working? So let's refresh. I think first of all, I'd still like to see our list, but I think we have the correct list, proper list. Let's go ahead. So go to church, clear this guy, submit, and I click on this, I click on edit, have go to market, I'll save. I see this value and it's not changing. So desk, go to church, into the go to church. So it's not changing, so we need to check out why it's not changing. So either text is equal to text, either desk is equal to desk. And we're returning E. Yeah. Let's see. You have one value inside of it, desk, and to do update these values, and it's working. So this is the editor list, which is the new one we should be having. And this text, isn't that what we're changing? Okay. At this point, you also like to see what text is. I think that I'm doing something wrong inside of this place, but I need to find out what it is. Oh, should be equal to. If it's equal to it, then that's when we want to edit it. Not when it's not equal to. That was the filter, and I just realized. So on refresh, let's test this out again. So that's what you get when you copy and paste. Go to church, and then to market, to be edit quote market. Clear out this guy so we see a new value, save. So this should be desk is updating. Oh, I'm adding two more values. A new desk, a new text, and new to do. Okay, to do has always been there. So it shouldn't be text, it should be to do. It is to do, not text to do. Ghost text. Yeah. And then when I clicked on save, this didn't return back to the normal state. So I also should do set show edit to false when I do that. So let's go back and where is it? So I'm done. I know what's here, so I don't need to log it console anymore. I also need to do set show edit to be, I think I can just go ahead and say false here instead of initial. False and false, like to the initial state, false. So I save. Let's test code out again. Refresh. So in my mind it should be working fine now, and I can go to the market with this. Go to church, click on that and edit. I say go to the market. At least it look really small, but save. Now we have to go to the market. Let's add something else. Say go to work, submit, and I'm like, no, I don't want to go to work, I want to play. So I say edit, stay, boom, and play. It sounds good, yeah? Save. So stay home and play. So that's the edit functionality, and we can still delete from here. Delete and delete. So that's good, guys. Thank you so much for staying tuned. I hope this was helpful somewhat. All right.